Vikramjit Nath started his career as Senior Account Manager in Response India Private Limited. Then he moved to Anand Bazar Patrika and worked as Group Brand Executive. He then joined Future Value Retail Limited as Assistant Manager Marketing, and then he joined Bets Asia as Group Brand Manager. He joined Ambuja Siemens as Deputy Manager Brand and Promotion in Jan 2013, and then moved to Star India, Star Jalsha, as marketing manager. He was there for a few months, and then he rejoined Ambuja Cement in November 2016, and presently he's working as the head brand and promotions, looking after the entire East region. A very, very warm welcome to you, Vikramjit. He will be speaking on, thank you, Vikram. He will be speaking on the topic, basics of marketing and brand management. Now, to set the context, a strong brand creates customer loyalty. People associate higher quality with branded products, right? And they're ready to pay even more than for a generic version of the product, even when the two products are identical. This is because people trust branded products more, right? Now, once a product is branded, it typically earns a higher market share by lowering the cost of sales, as loyal customers don't need to be marketed to as much, right? And moreover, with an established brand, it is easier to launch new products. When the consumer sees the brand's logo on the new product, they instantly associate the brand promise to the new product from day one. So we can understand that brand management plays a vital role, and it is an important aspect of marketing management. So without further delay, it is better to hear from a person who is heading the brand and promotion group in a company called Ambuja Siemens. So without further delay, I would request Vikram to start his deliberation. Now, I would request all the students and the participants to put their questions in the chat box, as you are regularly doing this, and so that it can be taken up for discussions once the discussion is over. Or if Vikram, you want to put somebody, you want to take somebody in your this loop, you can always do that. So correct. Over to Mr. Vikramjit. Yeah, over to you, Vikram.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot for the introduction. You probably said a lot more than what I am right now. I'm sure the students who are here, I was like all of you about 14 years back, doing the regular classes, wondering about what the future lies, what's there in the future for you. So don't be worried. It's not that bad of a situation. It is tough, no doubt, because competition is very strong right now. And let me share my screen first. Acha, one thing before I start, no need to take any notes. Please, it's a request to you. Don't deviate. Just this session would be primarily for you guys to understand. I would apart from that, whatever textual part, your professors will take you through that. And so don't bother, don't write any notes. I will share the presentation with you. I'm going to show you a lot of videos. It should be more of an interactive session rather than a one-way communication, right? So whenever anybody feels to stop me, please unmute yourself and ask me a question. I am open to answer all the questions. We have some limited time, so I will quickly glance through the slides, but stop me wherever you have any problems, right? And so all of us are ready, good to go. Just in the chat box, why don't you type Aage Badho? I said Aage Badho, not yes sir. Cool. I'll present.
Now people are writing Aage Badho, so you can Aage Badho.
Fantastic.
Right.
Okay, so is it visible to all of you? Ma'am, it's visible, right?
Right, yes, it's visible. It's visible.
Correct. So I'll call this presentation as the 4 P's journey. and you'll come to know. I got it from. I came to know that most of you are. There are mix of first year and second year students. So the second year students who have already taken up marketing would have. I'm sure they have come across the 4 P's of marketing. So this is 4 P's is the main four pillars of marketing, and so I'll rather call it the 4 P's journey. And we are going to cover the basics of marketing, what is brand management, and basic. And I'll just touch base upon advertising. If we have time, I will. Else, I would skip that. Before I start, this is a small slide about myself. That's me and my wife. I am presently working as the head of brands for Ambuja Cements Limited East. I look after the entire eastern region. We have 4 regions in India, which comprises of north, west, south, and east, like any other company. Previously, I used to work for Anandabaja Potrika, Bates Asia, wherein I handled Goldflake and Capstan cigarettes. Anandabaja Potrika was in the brand team of the magazines, and I was handling Unish Kuri and Desh and parts of Shananda as well. And I'm, as ma'am said, that I'm the second batch of Heritage Business School. Okay, so coming straight away to the presentation. See, marketing, as all of us know, marketing, and we always keep talking about marketing. Most of the students want to take up marketing as a subject. So what basically marketing is? Now, is it equal to sales? I can't see my chat box. 1 second. So anybody tell me, is marketing equal to sales? You can unmute yourself and just tell me yes, no.
Yeah, you unmute yourself and then tell the. Yeah.
Not always, sir.
Correct. Absolutely right. It is not. It is absolutely not sales. Sales is just part of the marketing gamut that we have. Marketing is a superset. Sales is just part of it. So marketing is basically a process which a team handles of any company, and this process is involves a lot of other functions as well, like the research, the advertising. This finance again sometimes comes part of marketing as well. So sales, of course, sales is a very vital part of marketing, distribution, branding. So before I get deep dive into marketing, what does a marketing team actually look like in reality? So these are the functions which actually are part of marketing, the sales being one, then comes the brand management, then comes market research, then as the product management, corporate communications, there's digital marketing, vagera. A lot of other functions which are part of marketing. And this is a typical structure, marketing structure of any company, wherein the CMO is the chief marketing officer. He is the head of marketing. Then he has the sales team. Then he has the brand team. There's a digital team, the research team, corporate communications. Again, the brand head would have brand managers below him. There will be each of the brand managers would be handling various type of activities, like the creative agent. Somebody would be handling the creative agency. Somebody might be handling the digital agency, event managers, BTL, direct marketing agencies, and so on. So this goes on. This is a typical structure. This is not the final and fixed thing. From industry to industry, this structure will change. So what they do, what does the marketing team actually does? See, marketing is a process. So defining marketing as a process, marketing is the activity set of instructions and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, exchanging offerings that have value for customers. I'm again reiterating, it's creating, communicating, delivering, exchanging, and offering. Exchanging offerings that have value to the customer. What does these actually mean? So, see, whether it's a product or a service, and you being a marketeer for a company, so companies make products, they manufacture products, but when it comes to how you take it to the outer world, how you drive the sales, that is the main KRA of a marketing team. I will go into each of these, and probably by the end of the presentation you will have a fair enough idea about each of the traits that a marketing team does. So these are the main concepts, core concepts of marketing. And each of these needs and want and demands, product, brand, offer bundle, customer perceived value, satisfaction, delight, communication paid, owned, and earned, relationships, market segments, positioning, again, a very vital thing, marketing channels, customer lifetime value, competition, marketing environment. So these are the main concepts of marketing. We will touch base on most of them throughout in the presentation. And again, I'm telling you, any questions, because I'm not able to see the chat box right now. So anybody asking me anything, you can just unmute and ask me. I'll stop there right away. How does a marketing process work? Understand customer needs and wants through research. So we have seen already that the marketing structure, there's a team called market research. So research is very, very vital, as in research helps you to collect data from the market and basis the data, any decisions that the companies, the product or the corporate needs to take. So the basic data that you have to rely on and to make any changes, any actions is basically you get through research. So there are again various types of researches. I'm sure you have a subject called market research. So we'll get into details with that. Next comes market segmentation, targeting, and positioning, which is the STP of marketing and the most vital part of any marketing strategy. What segmentation does. Does anybody want to chip in here and maybe I get some idea? I'm sure there are marketing students here. So anybody want to share what STP means?
Marketing students, but what you're doing?
See, let's make this make
Yeah,
this.
it should be interactive, no?
Very
Yeah,
interactive,
otherwise,
you know,
yeah.
because I told Bobby ma'am on the first instance that marketing presentations are not the right. I mean, Google platform is not the right platform to, you know, do a presentation on marketing, because it can't be. It's not textual. You have to understand things. So if I go on showing you slides and videos and ultimately you guys don't make any sense out of it, then the making the presentation has no value. So anybody, please, any marketing students, what STP means? Any idea?
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sorry, good evening, sir. It's like already
It's
post
not yet,
5.
it's not yet 6, so we can say good afternoon to each other.
All
Hi.
right.
Tell me.
So I'll just give my like 2 cents on this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's yeah. So STP is basically segmentation, targeting, and positioning. So
Correct.
segmentation is basically segmenting the demographic properties of a particular group of people, and it is basically segmenting the entire group of people and making small categories of people, so which to whom you want to market your products to.
Right.
Targeting is basically that targeting procedure of finding out which age group or which uh, class of people you want to. Class would be a very like wrong term to use here, but it's a particular category of people you want to push your products to. And positioning is basically how you position the image of your product in the head of a purchaser or a buyer.
Fantastic. I mean, I think you have just nailed it. Probably the phrases you used, it's okay. You've got the sense of it. So coming back to it, to what I'll just add to what Aditya said. Segmentation is, again, as you rightly said, divide the market into small segments, group of segments, group of customers. Then comes targeting. Select the most attractive segments to focus on you are marketing on. Correct. So wrong targeting won't give you the right results. And positioning is how you position your product in that particular targeted market. Thanks, Aditya. Thanks for chipping in, and your whatever you had said is pretty.
You're welcome, sir. Sir,
Thank
I'm actually not a marketing student. I'm a finance student.
So that's even better. Okay. So implement market strategy by the 4 Ps, which are the main 4 pillars. And right at this point, so I would like to show you a video wherein how product pricing, place, and promotions actually plays the role, of making the product successful in the market, and how well the marketer actually uh, helps to understands the 4 Ps and implements. So just give me a moment. It'll take a second to just play the video. You guys need to hear the audio as well from tab. Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Can you just let me know if you can hear the audio as well?
Yes, it is audible, Vikram. It's
Thanks.
audible.
Yes. So as we were speaking about how to implement the 4 Ps, how to understand the 4 Ps properly. So this video, without saying anything, this video was pretty self-explanatory, and it showed how the 4 Ps actually come into play and how we need to understand the before how we utilize the 4 Ps on the any typical product. Okay, going forward. Again, this is very important. Value creating and capturing values. I will talk about value creation in my later part of my presentation. Next comes in due course of such marketing activities, you actually finally create and nurture a brand and build strong and regularly engage relationship and regularly engage with customers. So that is how a marketing process actually looks like overall. I mean, there are obviously you need to deep dive into each of the factors, but overall, that's the marketing process. And this is the marketing framework, which primarily covers the things that we have just discussed. Like the 4 Ps, there are 5 Cs of marketing, which is basically customers, company, competitors, collaborators, internal and external, and the context. Context as in like in what context you're talking about the product. Then comes the STP concept. Then are the 4 Ps, and as a result of all these efforts, you finally get new clients, and you need to retain them as well. So getting new clients is important, and retention of them is equally important, because if you have new clients and they don't come back to you again, so probably that's not a very desirable outcome, and through which ultimately the bottom line of any corporate, which is the profits, and through the customer satisfaction, as in like ultimately your customers are giving you the bottom line. So yes, again, marketing mix. Marketing mix is the ultimate result of how well you plan your 4 Ps for the product or the service you are selling. And basically, then I will show you a video again wherein all of us know about Royal Enfield. It was a product of UK, but they failed in the UK. They came to India because of certain reasons, and they are a super hit, a cult brand in India. And they have started business back in UK again. So just see this video. It will give you an idea of how probably initially they probably had made mistakes while positioning. I mean, while with the marketing activities of Royal Enfield in UK. Chrome tab.
Royal Enfield invites you on a journey to witness the world's longest enduring legacy in motorcycling. From its humble needle-making origins, the company graduated to manufacturing bicycles. In 1893, a prestigious order was won to supply precision parts to the Royal Small Arms factory of Enfield. In celebration, the latest range of bicycles were called Royal Enfield. Not long after, the first Royal Enfield motorcycle was unveiled to the world. In 1926, a major fire broke out at the 18-acre Redditch factory, the plant being saved only by the decisive action of the company's in-house fire brigade. Production continued, and soon after, in 1932, the company gave birth to the iconic Bullet, an up-to-date, versatile Royal Enfield of its time. During World War II, Royal Enfield designed the world's first airborne motorcycle. Almost 8,000 flying fleas were made, with many being dropped at the Battle of Arnhem and the D-Day invasion. The innovation continued apace after the war, with Royal Enfield pioneering the first British motorcycle with swinging arm rear suspension, paving the way for the 500 Twin and a dynasty of Royal Enfield twins. Royal Enfield's close association with India was first forged in 1952, when Madras Motors received an order for 800 350cc bullets from the Indian Army. This was quickly followed by the founding of Enfield India in 1955. In 1964, the iconic 250cc Continental GT Cafe Racer was launched to great acclaim. The closing of the Redditch factory in 1967 was the end of an era, but production of the 736cc Interceptor continued at the Westward Underground factory. Eicher Motors acquired Enfield India in 1994, and the company re-established itself as Royal Enfield Motors Limited. In 2008, the retro-styled Classic was introduced, complete with a new fuel-injected 500cc unit construction engine. The Classic rapidly acquired cult status when it became available in the home market, and sales grew exponentially. The global expansion continued with the opening in 2013 of a new state-of-the-art facility in Oragadam near Chennai. Amongst the first motorcycles to roll off the production line was the all-new Continental GT Cafe Racer. After traversing the highest roads and deepest valleys in the Himalayas for more than 5 decades, Royal Enfield debuted its first purpose-built adventure motorcycle, the Himalayan. With the addition of a third manufacturing facility at Vallam Vadagal, Chennai, Royal Enfield is poised to reach 825,000 motorcycles per annum by the end of 2018. Meanwhile, a firm foothold is maintained in the UK, with a technical centre at Bruntingthorpe adding global strength to our design and development. Years of extensive research, development and testing has resulted in Royal Enfield's most eagerly anticipated new engine, a Twin. With the rebirth of the Twin, the company continues to build on a legacy that has stood the test of time and continues to inspire riders with machines that provide pure motorcycling fun.
So as you can see that a product of the UK wasn't able to make much of difference. UK, they shut down, came to India, and then in India they have made history. So Royal Enfield is a as I was saying, it's a cult brand. So just imagine how the 4Ps probably were miscalculated in the UK, because UK productions were mainly because of the world wars. But in India, this had come as a special order for, Eicher Motors got the order from Royal Enfield, and in India they have made a different history altogether. Okay. So as I was saying, customer value is the core. So what is customer value? Customer value would probably is the how the customer perceives how the product is useful to the customer, which will on the which can be evaluated on the various parameters like quality, utility, usefulness, benefits, and price. Again, I'm saying it's quality, utility, usefulness, benefits, and price. And customer value is the benefits divided by the sacrifices. Sacrifices and benefits, I will get into the details. And regarding this particular equation, I will explain it to you in 2 slides. Benefits, what are benefits? Benefits can be functional. Functional benefits are related to solving a problem, like you are hungry. So eating is by eating your hunger would be gone. So so that's a benefit. Experiential benefit is again double cheese topping on pizza. That's an experience that you want to gain out of it. Psychological benefits, wearing a Lacoste t-shirt. So probably you are a tennis player and you want to showcase yourself as a tennis expert. So Lacoste, by wearing this Lacoste t-shirt, you have a psychological benefit. Emotional benefits, nostalgia. All of us have seen this melody Khao Khud Ban Jao. So whenever we Khud Jaan Jao, we whenever see this ad in the TV, we have a emotional nostalgia plays into us, and we have emotional benefit to it. Social benefit. I belong to this community. Suppose you are a member of a club, maybe Lake Club or something in Calcutta or Trolley Club. So that's an emotional benefit that plays in your mind. Social benefit. I belong to a community. Symbolic benefit, many people have this emotional thought of saying that I am a desi guy, I use Patanjali product, I want to use herbal products. So that's a big symbolic benefit. And conditional benefits are basically when you don't have any option, so that's the only option. Though conditional benefits is something which is forced on you. And sacrifices are primarily the costs that you're paying and the monetary part of it. And so price plays the amount of money that you pay for anything is the sacrifices that we're talking about. Now coming to this formula. So how do you come to a customer benefit? Sorry, customer value. So benefits by sacrifices. Now I would like somebody to, I'll give you an example. I use a Xiaomi phone. Okay, so this Xiaomi phone, I bought it for 15,000 rupees a year back, and I don't have any brand preferences as phones are concerned, but I had decided that I will buy a Android One phone because Android One will help me to install my office mails on my phone, else it won't get installed. And I wanted a 128 GB 6 GB ROM RAM phone. So as a benefit again, so in my case particularly, the benefit which I'm getting out of it is the 6 GB 128 GB RAM and the Android One thing. And for the sacrifices, 15,000 is a okay amount for a phone. Right. So for me, I was absolutely okay with it. 15,000 in present market with this configuration, I was pretty happy. Now, somebody tell me how will you evaluate my customer value, particularly in my case? Can somebody tell me? Chalo, no problem. I will try and explain it. But you have to acknowledge me whether you have understood it. So for me, benefits were like this. Right? So my benefits were, I was very happy with the phone. I got what I wanted. At the same time, my sacrifices actually gone down because I was okay with the cost as well. So a higher numerator by a smaller denominator, and the denominator goes lower. So will my customer value will go up or will it come down? Anyone?
Students, what you're doing?
Probably, if things get boring, tell me. I mean, I will try to make them as more interesting. But these are simple concepts. You need to understand that these things, because as I said, that don't get into taking notes and all. Get your concept very clear. So,
yeah,
chalo,
no. Yes, put it. The students are putting up in the chat box. They're putting.
I'm not able to actually.
You do one thing. You unmute yourself and tell the answer. Ronak Bhadra. Yeah.
Correct. Absolutely right. Aditya, right. Ronak Bhadra, go up. Ronak Bhadra, yes, sir. Cool. Absolutely. See. For particularly this case, my customer, me as a customer, my value towards the brand has exponentially gone up because I have the right product which I wanted at the right price. I am not shedding up extra money for this. So customer value is something, it's so important. It's a emotional thing. There is no document, no calculator to measure customer value, but that's the main thing of marketing. Once you have, for my phone probably as a product, it has just nailed it on the face. Okay, customer value can be achieved in two ways. One, customer experience, and two is customer engagement. I'll tell you a small story now. Ford Motors and General Motors, the two biggest automobile manufacturers in the world. Now, this is a story of 1920s, right? So Ford Motors had a model called Model T, and then at the contemporary General Motors was a Chevrolet. So Ford had a very straightforward brand story, but product story, what they call it, is they said that you have any color you want as long as it's black. And on the contrary, Chevrolet said a color for every purse and purpose. So read the two communication very carefully. Ford was very stringent with their product. They said, no, we are Ford. We will only give things that we think it's right. Whereas Chevrolet was, they just opened the gates for the customers. Now, in 1921, Ford sold around 9 lakh models of T20 and had a 60% market share. So can you imagine the volumes that they did in that point of time, 1921? And General Motors did around 61,000 by selling Chevys and with a market share of near 66%. I'm sorry. But over 10 years, Ford focused more on the cost in the production line, and they tried to reduce the cost without thinking much about the customers. And then they obviously, once the costs were reduced, they also had given back the cost reduction, the money which they had made by cost reduction, back to the customers. They tried to give it, and they probably gave it back also. But on the contrary, what General Motors did, General Motors built a diverse and differentiated product line targeting different benefits at different segments. So what they want, you go to a showroom, you go looking out for a red car, they said, yes, we'll give you a red car. You are a farmer, you go to a showroom, you say, I am a farmer, I need a very tough and hardy car. They'll give you a tough and hardy car. You're an executive, they said, I want a sophisticated car. They'll give you a sophisticated car. But Ford was not probably that much focused on the customers. And see the results. It says by 1931, GM had 31%. They had overtaken Ford, and Ford's 60% market share had come to 28%. So what does it mean? That Ford focused more on the product than customers, whereas GM, they knew that this is not going to work, my friend. So let us focus on the customers. Customer engagement. Anybody? What's this? This is the Harley Davidson Owners Group. So this is the logo for Harley Davidson Owners Group. Harley Davidson Owners Group, they don't sell bikes. The Harleys in the US, Harleys are very expensive across the world, everywhere. I mean, I'm sure all of you should know that though they have now stopped operating in India, recently they've stopped, but Harley Davidson are filthy expensive bikes. So in the US also they're expensive. They're not cheap, and it's not meant for everyone. So Harley Davidson, they don't sell bikes as now. I mean, they don't sell that. They are not into a concept of selling bikes. They sell freedom. So where does that freedom come from? So belongingness to that group, particularly the Hogs, they call it the Hogs, Harley Davidson owner groups. So belongingness to the Hog is the main thing that they sell. And what and they're doing relationship building and customer engagement. This is an immense customer engagement that they do, because these customers, they have a huge belongingness to the brand, and they don't think that it's just a bike on which I can ride. This is a community that I belong to. And prices become secondary for the TG. So prices become secondary for the TG when they know they're paying a premium. They know they're paying a lot of money, but they don't care about it. They say that I just want to go and grab a holiday. Now, Dove is an excellent example. It's a known brand to all of us. So I will show you two videos. I don't think I don't have time for 3 videos. I'll show you 2 videos. One will show you how the value was created, and the other thing will show you how Dove had engaged their customers over time. See the communication that they created.
During your lifetime, you wash your face over 25,000 times, 25,000 exposures to the drying effects of soap. Yes, soap. All soap can dry your skin. That's why you should switch from soap to Dove. Dove is completely different from soap. Only Dove is 1/4 cleansing cream. Dove creams your skin while you wash. Prove it to yourself. Wash one side of your face with soap. Wash the other side with Dove. Now rinse, pat dry, and see the difference. Notice how dry the soap side feels.
But there's no dry feeling with Dove. My skin feels so soft. Soap can dry your skin, not Dove. Dove creams your skin while you wash.
Choose white Dove or new lightly scented pink Dove.
So this is one example wherein the value proposition to the customers is absolutely on a different line. They are saying that we are not selling soaps, we are selling beauty. And now how does these guys are so successful in terms of engagement also? This is a 3-minute video. Just look at it. This is just amazing concepts, and I would say this is the best customer engagement example that I have come across in my life. Have a look at it.
I'm a forensic artist. Worked for the San Jose Police Department from 1995 to 2011.
I showed up to a place I'd never been, and there was a guy with a drafting board.
We couldn't see them, they couldn't see us.
Tell me about your hair.
I didn't know what he was doing, but then I could tell after several questions that he was drawing me.
Tell me about your chin.
It kind of protrudes a little bit, especially when I smile.
Your jaw.
My mom told me I had a big jaw.
What would be your most prominent feature?
Kind of have a fat, rounder face.
The older I've gotten, the more freckles I've gotten.
I would say I have a pretty big forehead.
Once I get a sketch, I say thank you very much, and then they leave. I don't see them.
All I had been told before the sketch was to get friendly with this other woman, Chloe.
Today I'm going to ask you some questions about a person you met earlier, and I'm going to ask you some general questions about their face.
She was thin, so you could see her cheekbones. And her chin, it was a nice, thin chin.
She had nice eyes. They lit up when she spoke.
Cute nose.
She had blue eyes, very nice blue eyes.
So here we are. This is the sketch that you helped me create, and that's a sketch that somebody described of you.
So yeah, that's...
She looks closed off and fatter. Sadder, too. The second one looks more open, friendly, and happy.
I should be more grateful of my natural beauty. It impacts the choices and the friends that we make, the jobs we apply for, how we treat our children. It impacts everything. It couldn't be more critical to your happiness.
Do you think you're more beautiful than you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
We spend a lot of time as women analyzing and trying to fix the things that aren't quite right. And we should spend more time appreciating the things that we do like.
What an amazing concept. I mean, I'm sure everybody is going to accept on that. See, I mean, the friend actually made them look better than what they thought about themselves. So brilliant, and that's brilliant. And just imagine the customer engagement that they're having on this. It's like out of this world. I mean, customers, after probably a person who never used Dove, or probably after this activation, when she has been a part of it, she'll go back and purchase a Dove. So that's the long-term customer engagement that the product has built. So in this entire marketing process, authentic and relevant brands are built. So this word particular relevant is very, very important. Now we get into brand management, and which is again a subset of marketing. So again, I being into brand management, I always love to speak about it, and I want to be in brand management for the rest of my life. It's a process of building, managing, and improving a brand. How do we do that? There are a lot of AVs, but I'll just skip this one. I'll probably get into the next AV, super brands. So again, in brands, once a brand becomes super successful, it turns out to be a super brand. And now you tell me, as consumers, as regular individuals who use a lot of products, what does come to your mind when you read the 4 categories that I have written? So just quickly, guys, what are the first brands that come to your mind when you see these? Okay, so water
Bisleri.
Yes, yeah. You're right. So phone, Samsung.
But I don't understand why the students are keeping mum. I don't understand this. What happened to the students? Yeah. Anyways, carry on.
Pair of jeans, maybe obviously Levi's, a motorcycle, Royal Enfield, no doubt about this.
Mm-hmm.
Acha, I want to know from the students, who is this guy? That's Vito Corleone, right? Who played by Marlon Brando of the movie Godfather 1972. I mean, I'm sure most of you have seen this movie. It's a brilliant, one of my most favorite movies. Brilliant movie. And this guy, I never knew that this guy was called Marlon Brando, but I knew him by the name of Vito Corleone, the main don of this film. So just imagine how big of a brand he is. I mean, you don't need not know his name also. So you know him by face, and you can recall that yes, this guy was in that movie. So brand is a type of product, manufactured, service, or maybe service offered by a company with a particular name, attribute, experience, color, essence, or taste. So obviously all of you know that the brand has a name, brand has a logo. Why does this experience, color, taste, essence, why does these things are said? Again, a small AV with this would help you understand why I am saying. See this AV. It will help you understand how a brand, what is a brand, and how can you differentiate it from a regular product. So that gives you a fair enough idea of what brands are. And clearly, they said that brands, you make them and you unmake them. Who's them? Who's you? You are us. Me, and you. So we are consumers are the persons who make and create brands. I mean, it is not the marketeers or the company who make the brands. So yes, rightly said. Where the brand is formed, nowhere. It is just formed into the minds of the consumers. You make it, you unmake it. Brands are not as same as the products are. Products are just the products is a bigger gamut of the scene. Product is a offering by any company that serves the satisfy the consumer needs. The name becomes a brand when the consumer associate it with a set of tangible and intangible benefits. I mean, how relevant we saw that brand should be relevant. So how relevant it is to the consumer? Brand is a seller's promise to deliver the same benefits consistently to the buyers. So if Coke doesn't deliver the way it used to, I mean, the customers won't be retained in future. It's as simple as that. Again, a product is scope, attributes, uses, quality, value, functional benefits. Whereas brand is a bigger role. The brand has a much bigger role, wherein it is created in the minds with all these attributes following it. Bisleri is a purist. So if you are talking about brand identities, Bisleri would call for purity. Samsung is reliable and premium. Levi's is cool and stylish, and Royal Enfield is macho. You're a macho. You're dude. I mean, you're cool. So these are the identities that we have. We have already seen this. See this. These are excellent examples of brand management. So all of us say, I mean, we are late. We'll Uber it. Google the location. Picture तो बहुत अच्छा Photoshop किया है तुमने. Contact your WhatsApp me your contact number. And Xerox has done it probably the best over ages. So Xerox, we actually call photocopy machines by the name of Xerox everywhere. Nokia brand trust promises trust and strong technology. Starbucks stands for bolder and more flavorful coffee. These are the brand essences that the brands commit to the consumers, and this is how the consumers perceive about the brands according to them. So thus, summarizing, maybe we can see that brands are what consumers buy, while products are what concerns companies make and sell. So what consumers buy, you go and buy a particular product. You are not, there's enough of choice for you in the market. You are not pushed for anything. You buy your own brands. Brand is a promise that the product will perform in customers' expectations, that the product will perform as per the customer expectations. It is a name, term, logo, symbol, tactile feel. Tactile feel is like the touch and feel of the product. Nowadays, the competition is so strong that companies and brands and products are actually going for the different senses which can be achieved by different sense organs of a human being, like the skin, which is for sense. And so that they are differentiated from the other competitive products. Brand equity, I won't get into the depth of brand equities because you would learn in your marketing classes about this. Brand personality, yes, as I said, there's a set of human characteristics that are attributed to a brand. So it's a brand is a non-living human being, or a non-living object which has when you actually go and buy it, you think that it will have some attributes which would match my needs, which would match my profile. I love I love riding my Ford car because I think Ford is made for me. So that's basically a brand personality, an essence which it gives out. Again, understanding some brand personalities. Woodland stands for ruggedness. Harley Davidson is for rebel. Marlboro, again, ruggedness. MTV, it's wacky, it's cool, it's funky. So branding versus marketing. So again, summarizing, marketing can contribute to a brand, but brand is bigger than any marketing effort. So brand is created over our extensive or long marketing efforts that you put in. It's what sticks to your mind. It's association with the product. Brand is ultimately what determines if you will be loyal to the loyal customer or not. Let's analyze a couple of brands. Now I'm not going to leave you guys. Somebody has to the responses should come from you. I'll show you some logos, and you have to give me a small descriptor about the profiling of the brand. Anyone?
Apple.
Yeah, I know it's Apple, but what comes to your mind when you see this logo?
Sir, Steve Jobs.
Sorry, Steve Jobs. Okay, Steve Jobs and see, Steve Jobs is the creator. So Steve Jobs, he look up to him. He's a brand himself. Steve Jobs is the creator of Apple, no doubt.
Sir, iPhone.
iPhone, yes, of course. I mean, Apple stands for iPhone. So that we are talking about the product. All I'm asking, I am asking. Yeah, tell me. Sorry.
It's exquisite. That comes to my mind.
It's exquisite, nice. Okay, and
also a sense of
Says security, because I am using this brand for almost 5-6 years and premium quality of security.
Fantastic. So that is what I mean. Exquisite is it's you feel good about it, right? But as he said, the technology, the security that he gets out of it, that is a trait, that is a personality which you won't be very happy. Somebody who's bothered about security, he would probably not go for a Xiaomi phone. It's a Chinese phone. Kaisa rahega? I don't know. I'm not sure. So Apple, yeah, is is the Raja of security. I'll go for it. So that's the personality I'm trying to understand. Okay, what is this?
Comfort.
I got it, bang on. Absolutely right, comfort. So the jockey has built it in your mind, boss. I am the epitome of comfort. Underwears are the nobody else can see it, but that's where your comfort lies in. What is this?
Connection.
Yes, and community.
Networking.
Networking, community, right? Yeah, fantastic. I mean, very cool. I mean, why were you quiet for so long? Okay, this is my brand. What does it? I mean, I'm sure all of you have seen this from childhood. So, what does it stand for to you? When you see it, immediate connection, what do you have?
So strength.
Absolutely, bang on.
Strong strength, yeah.
Strength, yes. That is the proposition that we sell, boss. We sell we are into a cement trade. We don't sell cement. We sell you strength. We give you that confidence. Yes, this is a product which you should go for because strength is the priority of any house that you're making. Fantastic, guys. Okay, Taj, I'll just run through advertising. Yes, we are it's 6 o'clock. Advertising is basically what the picture says it all. It's communicating the products that you are selling or you are involved in to the people. So spreading the word about your brand to the marketplace, a paid form of communication with consumers. Advertising is not free. It doesn't come free. Nothing on this in this world comes free. Businesses use advertising to spread their brand to the consumers. The same thing what I have said earlier. Advertising agencies are hired to help them create communications. This is because it is not possible for a company or the marketing manager. He's not probably a creative guy. He's obviously creative. Personally, he's creative, but creative is something else which advertising agency is. They have that expertise in it. This is the typical structure of advertising agency. So you have the agency head, and then you have the client services team, you have a creative team, you have a digital team, a planning team. Planning team is again who actually sits with the creative team and the client services team, and they say, okay, chalo, what is the brief? What is the company? What the brand is looking for? Let us plan it. So they do the planning part, and by the creative team comes up with a creative representation of it. Studio and productions is the section wherein the final artworks, the final things that we see, a television ad or maybe a magazine ad, a paper ad, a digital marketing campaign. So that is basically the studio productions are done at the studios. Forms of advertising: television, print, newspaper, magazine. Print is obviously the newspaper, magazine ads. Digital, website, email, online. Social networks is a big thing. I would rather request all of you to read by yourselves a lot about digital and digital marketing, which includes social networks. I am doing a digital marketing certification from IIT Bombay, and I think it will help me in my career. And you guys are young; you should start it immediately, because the next generation of marketing would mostly convert to digital marketing from traditional marketing. And traditional marketing like outdoor OH is again out of home, which means outdoors. Radio is it's not that big of a medium, but it's quite a good medium depending on what category of products you are into. And events, exhibitions, and there are millions and millions of mediums that are used for advertising. This is just a example which I downloaded from the internet, which would show you about the typical advertising spend of a company and what is how they bifurcate into different mediums. So TV obviously eats up maximum of the revenue because TV is very damn expensive, and national TV is it's very expensive. Then would come your print. Again, print is cheaper than TV, but quite expensive than other mediums. Then would come your digital. Digital is growing big time. If you see the numbers, 2016, 17, and 18. So 16 it was 7,300, whereas in 20 it has gone up to 12,000. So can you imagine the amount of digital spends that are increasing? And this is 2018. By 2020, it must have come to in its 20,000 plus range. So that was it, friends. I know I had hurried up a bit. I wanted to show you a lot of videos, but I couldn't. I'm sorry for that, because as I said that marketing session can successfully happen when we face each other, we see each other, we talk to each other. Because other than talking, I don't think there's any solution. So I'm open for questions. Anybody, any question, I'll try to answer. And the professors are also there. If I'm not able to answer, I'll request the professor to answer it.
Thank you, Vikram, for your lucid presentation.
Was it lucid actually?
Yeah, it was very good. And I must say that you have rightly picked up the right examples so that you can get the attention of the students. And
Yes.
and I'm sure all the students could relate to his presentation. I would like to say one thing about Vikram. I mentioned about one thing that he is taking care of his offline and digital marketing of Yoga Sutra, which is a yoga studio owned by his wife. So he's not only learning digital marketing from IIT Bombay, as he has mentioned, he's also implementing and using those concepts into actual practice. That's very good. Vikram, is there any question from the students? I can see some questions. Yes, Shweta Jha from first year. Shweta, can you put your questions? Can you
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. My question is branding somewhat similar to advertising? I mean, in both the cases, we are trying to target the customers and gain their, their attention towards the. Of course, advertising is paid and branding is non-paid. But is there any other difference? Any specific?
See again, as at the initial part of my presentation, I said that marketing is the superset, right? So marketing, suppose this is marketing. So in that, advertising is the communication. So marketing will consist of a lot of things which I have talked about, the 4 Ps, the marketing mix, the STPs. So after doing all the activities, you finally come to a point wherein you decide, chalo, okay, this is my product and this is what I want to communicate. And when you communicate, that's advertising. When you pay for it, that is advertising, right? Now, brand management is basically a marketer's job wherein he looks after the health of the brand. See, again, brand is created by you. It's created by you. It's created by me. It's created by Bobby ma'am. So you have a perception if the product actually suffices what it commits, then only the brand is made in the minds of the people. So yes, communication, advertising, branding are sisters. They work together, and one is the result of the other, and other way as well. But it is not the same thing. But again, quite similar to each other. I hope I could make you understand.
Yeah, so you mean that branding is somewhat the message that the companies is trying to convey, and advertising is a channel through which they are conveying that.
No. Advertising is the message. Is how you are communicating. So that's advertising would also be part of the message. Branding doesn't. Branding. See, there's a brand called Old Monk. It's a rum. I'm sure you have heard about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. So I'm sure there are a lot of guys. I'm sure they are laughing to themselves now. But I'm an Old Monk fan, right? So Have you ever seen, anybody has ever seen an ad of Old Monk? Guys, can, if you want, anybody can answer.
Sir,
So the ad
advertisement alcohol is it's not allowed.
No,
exactly, sir.
It's a sin product, right? I have worked in tobacco. It's a sin product. Sin products you can't advertise, but you can advertise at the shop level. So when you go to a shop, you will see, if you're going to go to a cigarette shop, you will see there's a cigarette cup poster out there mentioning the brand, showing the sticks and all, with obviously a message on it that smoking kills and all. But in case of Old Monk also, when advertising was allowed earlier, then also there was no ads of Old Monk. But it's one of the biggest brands that India has ever made.
Branding is something which increases the customer loyalty, right? If the brand management is done properly, customers will be loyal to that product only, and they will not switch over to some other brands. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Got your point. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I didn't know, so no problem. Anybody else?
Sir, yes, I have a question. It's me again, Aditya.
Aditya, tell me.
Yes, sir. So recently in this lockdown situation, my very close friends of mine, they started with their own this small project. They call it CYOD. It's they have branded it as CYOD. It's cook your own dish. So it's a DIY meal box scene. Okay. So I'm helping them with the PR and marketing part. Okay. So we have already published sponsored links on Instagram, and also by word of mouth we are spreading it, and we are asking people to put up Instagram stories tagging us. So sir, what, according to you, like, what would you suggest for this new upcoming brand in this pandemic situation, so that we can brand it properly and we can spread the word that we have come up with such a new project?
Right.
And
So, again, I got your question. So a nice concept, first of all, congratulations on that. And the thing is that, see, brands are not made overnight. This you have to agree with me. Brands are not made overnight. No matter, you have to reach the people. First, your product or service which you are offering should have that should be that relevant to the people. So if it is relevant, obviously, then you communicate, you do advertising, rightly chosen by you. I think whatever you said, that social media online is the only form, because this is a service. You said it's an online service, right?
The DIY cooking your own meal.
Okay, so basically it's sharing recipes. I mean, if that is the course concept of it, right? Okay, it got disconnected. Anyway, so the advertising, if we are talking about advertising, online advertising is the right platform that they should select, and I guess they have selected that as well. Anything else?
We got disconnected here.
Yeah, you got disconnected.
Aditya, I've got a question. Like, as you know, that as a part of their course, the students have to go for summer internship, right? So in Ambuja Cement, do you have got any provision for offering SIPs?
Madam, last year I already had 2 students from Ambuja. Last year, there were, I guess, 2 or 3
from Heritage.
From Heritage, they were doing an internship under me only. So, but preferably, to be very honest, in a cement industry, which is a channel marketing industry, preferably it's a bit difficult for the girls, because they have to move a lot in the market, and and moving a lot doesn't necessarily mean that within moving in the city. I travel a lot in a month, around 17 to 18 days, maybe more than that. I travel. Though I'm not into sales, but I travel. I love traveling. That's why I travel, and it's very much required. So, in a cement industry, you have to travel a lot in the rural, semi-urban. So ideally, it sometimes becomes difficult for the girls. It is, but it is doable. I'm not saying it's not doable. It's doable, but it becomes difficult. For the guys, it's okay. If somebody has a bike to himself, we can obviously take in students, and we can we'll restrict their geographies to the city itself, but they'll have to do a lot of traveling.
Okay.
Hi, sir. Sir, actually,
I saw you got
Yeah, yeah.
disconnected. Aditya, as I was saying that it's a DIY for cooking. I mean, you make your
Yes.
own
So
dishes.
we have pre-cut recipe. We have the pre-cut ingredients along with
Hmm.
the recipe, and it's mainly gourmet and continental food.
Hmm.
So people might, after coming back from office, they might be tired, and they like the most gruesome part is like cutting and chopping and all of that, and preparing for the
Correct.
meals is the hardest part, right? So
Correct.
we give pre-cut ingredients so that they can
Hmm.
just put it in the dish and cook it.
So Aditya, I would suggest that you have chosen the right platform. Online is the platform. So again, online, there are a couple of things you have to keep in mind. Online, you have to do brand awareness, right? So until and unless brand awareness is met, until and unless people come to know about your brand, they are not going to buy it. So you have to do brand awareness. For sales, for lead generation, which is basically the bottom line, the main core of thought for you guys. For sales, you should be targeting online stores like there's something called Meetigo nowadays. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Okay.
There's called Meetigo. What Meetigo does, Meetigo is basically an online channel wherein they are online, offline both. You can call your orders, you can place your orders online as well. So
All
they
right.
have a collection of meats, various types of meats, patty for burgers, and something related to the meat, fresh fish and all that. So that's a channel you can tie up with if you're offering meats and all that, and they're going to charge you a commission on every sale. But I mean, for you, if you want to go ahead and make a online platform for yourself, it won't be cost worthy. You get
Okay.
my point? It won't be cost worthy. So you have to tie up with the Meetigos, the Grofers of the world.
Okay.
And but for brand awareness, yes, for promoting the stories that you are selling, the story should be the right channel is online. So just go ahead with it.
Sir, like we have also custom like the customer involvement kind of a thing. So we have quizzes on Fridays and fun facts on Thursdays. So like that, we are making creatives and pushing it online.
Nice. Okay.
So
Good.
this is the
I think you should have that as we were talking about the engagement, right? Marketing engagement.
Yes, sir.
So that's basically what you're doing. So engaging customers, it's very important for a long-term result. So you should keep doing that.
Right, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Sir, I have one more question.
Aditya, I think I will suggest you that you can
get
always
in
take
touch
his
with me
number.
directly.
Yeah, you get in touch with him directly. That will be better.
Okay.
Right? You take his
I can
number.
always you.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
definitely.
you will definitely
do
get
that.
help.
Yeah, you take it from Bobby, ma'am. My number is with.
Yeah, you will definitely get help from Vikramjit. Yeah,
Yes,
that will be better.
in the meantime, if I can address if anybody else has any other questions.
Yeah.
Just one suggestion. Most of you are, I'm sure, in the second year and some are in the first year. Apart from the studies, what you are doing, what you have to do for getting the marks, read, and those who want to take up marketing. See, again, sales. I mean, most of the people would like to go for sales. No harm about it. I was very sure. I decided that I won't get into sales. So I wanted to get into advertising. I wanted to get into brands. So fix up your mind and just stick to your minds. I mean, what do you want to do? Because once you get into sales, it is later people have tried to get out of sales and getting into marketing.
That is difficult.
It is difficult, and it is sometimes becomes very lengthy of a process. So decide by what you want to get into, because there'll be a lot of sales options that you will get, and there is no limitations of sales jobs. But marketing, there are limited jobs in the market, at least in the market like Calcutta. So decide that about and study. I mean, read a lot about digital marketing. Read about marketing. Digital marketing is going to play a big role in near future.
Exactly so. Exactly. Okay, since we don't have any more questions, but Vikram, we would like to have you in the campus once the college reopens. So
surely,
we would like to have you in the campus.
Yes,
right?
I would like to to take a session on advertising, because advertising is my core subject. So I can I can talk for hours on that. And surely, ma'am, I mean, I would definitely wait for your invite whenever you open. I would love to take a session
Sure.
with the students directly.
Okay. Now I would request our student from second year, Navarupa Nath, to offer the vote of thanks.
Good evening, sir. Good evening to you all, respected dignitaries, Honorable Speaker of the Day, Mr. Vikramjit Nath, Director Sir, faculty member, and my dear friends. I am Navarupa Nath, second year of HBS. I am honored to propose a vote of thanks. At the onset, I would like to thank Mr. Vikramjit Nath for the lucid and enriching presentation. I'm sure it has been a good learning for all of us. Some of the important takeaways from the session are the importance of 4 P's in the journey, success story of Royal Enfield, the various benefits like functional benefits, experiential benefit, emotional, social, and symbolical benefits. We also came to know about the customer value. From the story of Ford Motors and General Motors, we came to know that Ford Motors focus more on the product than customer, whereas General Motors focused on customers' needs and wants. We also came to know that how Dove and other various brands engaged customer at times. On behalf of HBS, I would like to thank Mr. Vikramjit Nath, head of Bambuja Cement Limited, East Kolkata, and also an alumnus of HBS from second batch 2004 to 2006, encouraging us. We are also thankful to our director, Sir, Professor K.K. Chaudhary, moderating the entire session. I would like to also thank Dr. Bobby Ma'am for introducing such a topic and moderating such wonderful session. A heartfelt thanks go to all faculty and staff members of HBS. Last but not the least, but my acknowledgement goes to all the participants for making this webinar is so interactive and interesting by placing valuable questions from the current economic scenario and thereby making the webinar a planned success. So I would like to wind up the thankful all of you once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Navarupa. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bobby ma'am. Thanks to the respected teachers, Director Sir. I'm sure he couldn't make it today. And thanks to all the students for being so patient. I had rushed through my presentation. Probably would have been better if we had met you all guys. And
Exactly.
all the best for your future. All the best for your exams. We have been through that, so we know how difficult it is. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good evening, and have a nice evening ahead, and all the best to all of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.